Alright, today I'm going to be finishing up the tooling on the background and all of this sheath, and I'll move over and start dyeing it. Now, I'm using a pear shader to kind of move around in the background. Let's see what we can do about getting a few different views of this. You can see right in here is recessed, gives more depth. After I do the insides, I'll come and do the outside first, and go from there. Move that out of my way. What I try to do is get it to where it looks as even throughout as possible. That way, when I start dyeing, everything will blend nicely. Right now I don't have a large assortment of craft tools, so I'm kind of making do with what I've got. Later on I'll get a larger assortment as things progress. So I'm just making the best of what I got. that's looking. I'm attempting to be able to make things more visually appealing with the videos by having more than one camera angle going at the same time, and that way when I edit and stuff I can do the picture-in-picture and splice in different angles. But if I've got all the cameras going at the same time, recording all the same things, as I splice in and move things in, they'll sound will all line up. Unlike the first half of this video, first part I should say of tooling these, where things didn't quite line up sound-wise and what was going on in the video. But that's because I actually shot the video for tooling 3 out of the 4 sheaths to get the different angles and everything instead of doing what I'm doing now. Y'all have seen what that looks like. We'll go ahead and finish up all the inside stuff and come back to when I'm almost done with the outside. Got the majority of it done, so I'm going to finish up this last little bit. Use the pointed side of the parachuter to get back in those corners. Down in this area. See where it just kind of bounces along, and depending on how fast I move it and how big of a space there is. Alright, there we are. It was about 3 times during all this that I had to stop, soak it with a wet sponge, and then now I'm going to let it dry good, and then I'll start with the dye. Finish off this video, I'm going to be dyeing this faith-based sheath. What I'm going to do is I'm going to start off with the saddle tan. And for the application on it, I'm actually going to just use a Q-tip so I can have a little bit better control. What I'm trying to do is keep from getting on the wheat. That's going to be a lighter color. This little bit over here on the background is not going to be that big a deal because that's actually going to be a darker color. Like I said, I'm more worried about just being able to control that around the wheat, because the wheat is actually going to get dyed a yellow. Little things like this can help you control things just a little bit better. If I wanted to get a lot of control, I'd actually just go to a thin tip paintbrush, art and craft paintbrush, and use that. One of the reasons for putting down this paper is keep dye from getting all over everything. That's the only saddle tan that I'm going to use. So we're done with that one. Now I'll move to the yellow. The only yellow I have is EcoFlow. I prefer the Phoebing's dyes. Now when I'm done, this will actually end up looking more like a goldish color by the time I'm done. Because what I'm going to do is let the dye soak in, go back over it a couple of times. Alright, now I'm going to go to a dark brown. I'm going to work inside this first. If I get right up next to these, what it'll do is it'll flow down into the cuts and the bevels, offset them a little bit more. Alright, now that you've seen how I was doing that, I'm going to pause the camera. I'll come back after I've got the rest of it filled in. Alright, that's dried, as you can see now. Now, I'm going to move to the outside. Then I will, I do black on the edges and then blend it in. And I'll show you how I do that in just a minute. Let's go ahead and move to the brown. And that was, I hit the yellow on the wheat 3 times, and the same with the saddle tan on the Latin letters. Now, I'm going to try to be careful and not get up on the saddle tan or the yellow, which is why I went around with the Q-tip and tried to bring it outside just a little bit, so there'd be less chance of that. Unfortunately, with doing it this way, you do have to kind of saturate it heavily. So and you're still going to see some color differences no matter how many times you go over it. And the more you go over it, the deeper saturation there is, and the darker the color. I've seen where I believe it's Maker's Leathercraft. He actually airbrushes the solid colors. Now, in something like this, it might not be practical because of the tooling and the fact that it is much lighter colors. We're going to let that dry for just a little bit, and after I'm done dyeing this, I'll actually go in and dye the inside of the sheath, and I'm going to round off these corners before I shave it down to stitch. Maker's Leathercraft also shows where there's, like with the wheat, he would start out here at the edge with a deeper cut and lighten up as he come up. So I'm learning a few things from watching him. I've only been doing leather tooling for a year, so I'm always looking to learn more. But at the same time, I'm going to show what I have learned. Matter of fact, I've come a long way from my original sheaths that looked like maybe a 5-year-old had done them, and to where now I can actually produce a nice quality sheath. And that's one of the things, you know, we're here to learn from each other. And I'll actually put a link to his channel down in the description of this video. And I'm hoping to get out in the forge again real soon. We're expecting rain for most of this week, and unfortunately with running the coal, it kind of limits how
the coal performs with the high humidity and stuff. It's sometimes harder to get things up to temperature. So I'm actually fixing to put together a propane forge so that on times like this I can still have a forge to run regularly. Alright. Now, as you can see, there is going to be some color differences in here, but as it dries it will even out a little bit. And also you'll see when I come back in with the black on the edges and kind of blend it. Alright, I've got all but this last one done with the black dye, so I'm going to go ahead and show you how to do the fade in black around the edges. Won't take long to finish this up. Heavy saturation, take a cloth, just rub it. Alright, there's what it looks like after I've got dye rubbed in and everything and all. I'll let that dry up and then I'll go over it with the sheen and everything, finish it up. And here's one with the sheen that is actually in the process of drying. As after it dries and you start to bend it, you'll actually see the difference in the color. But there you go. Hope you enjoyed it. Y'all have a blessed one. I'll see you later.